Hello everyone and welcome back to another Getting Stuff Painted, my bi-weekly give or take update on the various miniatures I've been painting for the games we cover here on the channel. Quite a few large miniatures to cover this time, so I don't think the total number is as high as usual, but when you've got three exceptionally large lads, I hope that makes up for it at the very least. We've got a chunk of the DC miniature game, the Batman miniature game, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and then right at the end, Don't Look Back, the newer game that we've been covering here on the channel. Again, all done with contrast paint as always, and as per usual, we'll start at the left and work our way right. So to start with, I've been working through some older miniatures just to get them done, more or less. So these two are miniatures from the second edition Batman miniature game slash DC universe. Specifically, this is the old school Blue Beetle, which was boxed with Booster Gold that I think I covered 2 videos in this series ago. Maybe a little bit more, so not anything like his more modern day iteration of who Blue Beetle is with the alien parasite and whatnot, but this is an example of basically every blue contrast paint. Aethermatic Blue is the lightest, Talisar Blue is the next darkest, and then the most dark for his holster and belt is Ultramarines Blue, with a little bit of Nazrite Yellow for his belt buckle and goggle eyes. I'm not sure. Very camp looking old school superhero, only usable in the DC. Actually no, I think he is usable in the Batman game, but his card is probably eternal, meaning not in a tournament setting, but you know, who cares about that really. And then the other one I decided to get done from the box that what's his name, Damien Dark, no, is it Damien Dark? I think so, Damien Dark, something dark, the Damien Dark box. This is Reverse Flash, based on his iteration from the Flash TV show, I believe. Basically the same as the Flash, just replace the red with the yellow and the yellow with the red. But he has sort of a weird darkening effect as you go down his costume, so while it was damp, the Yandan yellow that I used for this, I mixed in some of the Basilicanum grey. My dog is whining next to me because she thinks when I sit in this chair to record these painting updates that is the opportune moment to drop a tennis ball at my foot and have it thrown for her. So if I do a few breaks, it's because I'm doing that for her. But anyway, that was just to get it cleared up. There's still the Malcolm Merlin from that box of 3 to get done that I picked up cheap however long ago. As a matter of note, let's just throw these in real quick before we talk about the big DC miniature. The reinforcements for the Mr. Freeze box, although technically not because I did those first, but copies of 2 of the Mr. Freeze henchmen that I have already painted. Let's hope that these go in focus. I changed the colour of their belt buckles, so if I do ever use them in the same team, be able to tell them apart based on that. But done exactly the same as the other 2 that look like this. So Gun Hands Lady, Sword Man, pardon me, I had something stuck in my throat there, I felt it coming too. But that's him done. So that is literally all the Mr. Freeze miniatures done. But I just wanted to, again, talked about these exact miniatures before, just wanted to show them off as a matter of note to say, hey, they've been finished. So the large lad at the back, who was in my Black Friday 2021 unboxing video, is of course Lar Fleece, or Lar Fleas I believe, because it's a Z not a C. The Greed Lord, the sole surviving Orange Lantern in the DC universe because he killed all his friends and stole their rings, along with stealing basically whatever else. A very intimidating miniature to take on because of how small it is, and if you remember during the unboxing I found how many small hands you're supposed to stick on this so-and-so over here. I opted not to. I felt like it was just an exercise in frustration because they were so small and I couldn't. So I think he's supposed to have like little wing things on as well, but I just didn't like how they looked. So I left those off, but everything else is as it should be. Gryph-hound Orange for his actual suit and the orange lantern he's holding, but then like the official paint job has it as a kind of fire effect, so I ran with that for him and his constructs, which are his dead teammates. So they were done in the Yandan yellow as well, but then I did a dry brushing of just a standard yellow Citadel paint over the top to give them that kind of fire effect, and I did just the Yandan yellow on his flames, and then while it was damp, tiny bits of Gryph-hound Orange mixed in to create that kind of flame. And this is hopefully in focus. We'll do a little, remember the old school Ghetto 360 spins for the contrast paint videos? Just to give you an idea, like the back of it is more on fire than the front because that's where he's like summoning his constructs from. And I tried to match up the colour of the lanterns around him based on the official paint job. Did a little bit of dry brushing of yellow to be like the light from his constructs. I'm happy with how it turned out. For his skin tone, I believe I used Dark Oath Flesh, and then Snakebite Leather for his hair. So whenever the next DC miniature game report gets filmed, he'll probably be in it. Those are few and far between, to be fair, but I just thought the miniature looked cool. I don't know anything about the Orange Lanterns. I just thought he looked cool, and I'm kind of happy with how he turned out. What I did pick up, but sadly don't have here to show you, I finally found a cheap deal on the Green Lantern Corps box that Night Models released for the DC miniature game. So at some point in the future, be able to have a full-on Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern, maybe with orange and blue lanterns mixed in, or maybe red lanterns as well, because there's Atrocitus. We'll see. But there's going to be a lantern war or a war of some kind down the line. Alright, we're going to move on to another big miniature. I apologise for the other break. Got a frog in my throat this morning, that's what I get for recording this early. So I'm trying to cover up any future throat clearing, etc. No promises though. So next we have the big man himself, the big Black Friday 2021 release, Bane Unleashed, aka Nightfall Bane. An exceptionally impressive miniature that I hopefully did at least a little bit of justice. I painted him the same way I painted Rebirth Bane, so it's just Black Templar, Golem and Flesh, a little bit of Nurgling on his veins because he's all venomed up. With a little bit of dry brushing of, I think it is just Blood Angels Red, but very diluted because it is again trying to match the official paint job, and it had a red glow from a warning light from the Batcave because that's where they're fighting, presumably. So I had that kind of reflecting on the base as well, which is Basilicanum Grey. For Batman's suit, Basilicanum Grey as well. Which blue is that? I think it's Ultramarines blue, or it might be Talistar blue and then dulled down with non-oil, with a little dry brushing of Calgar blue at the top to catch the light. Black Templar for the bats as well. My dog persisting in dropping a ball under me as I'm recording this. There's a little bit of like mechanical stuff on his base as well. That is just Lead Belcher Silver. Look, I took so long to keep talking. She stripped the ball of its out. It's not really. This is a different ball. She's not consistent in what toy she brings back. She's very bad at fetch. But anyway, yeah, and on Bane's mask, that's just standard Blood Angels Red for his eyes, and a little bit of the Grey Seer he was based in on his Luchador-esque mask. Very happy with how it turned out. It's just a fantastic model in general. Super powerful stats as well for the table itself. So hopefully did okay of a job in painting him up. And yeah, he is going to be a powerhouse on the table. Oh yeah, and there's some more dry brushing of the red up on Batman as well, because I guess the light would also, like, it's coming from this direction, so it would catch him a little bit. So just ran with that as a theme. I think it looks okay. Painting all those lightsabers for Star Wars Legion is helping me get to grips with being brave enough to attempt light reflection, if nothing else. So last Batman / DC mini for now. This is Death Metal Batman, that again is from that unboxing from the Black Friday releases. The black ring wearing, lantern ring wearing Batman, who is using, I believe, Plastic Man as a guitar, someone told me, because I haven't read that story. I haven't read much modern day stories. So pretty much the same usual Batman colours, with a little bit of the same kind of dry brushing of red, because he's got red floodlights around his base to make them look neat. But Black Templar, a dry brushing of the Fang over it to give it a bit of definition, another dry brushing of the red in relevant places where it's catching like the spotlight, Flesh Terror red for the guitar, and I believe Skeletal Horde for the neck. And I think that's about it. Golem and Flesh for his trademark Batman chin, Lead Belcher Silver for the chains, and Skeletal Horde for the many skulls adorning his base. Again, a very neat miniature. Bane Unleashed, much cooler, but a Batman that just goes around doing sick guitar riffs to buff his crew is a pretty novel idea for a Batman with a different playstyle to your usual fare. So yeah, he is done as well. Hopefully see him at some point. I need a printable version of their cards first of all, because at present they still only exist in the app. Same with the Mr. Freeze crew, which is annoying, but hopefully in the future. So next, if you've been keeping up with the Fallout Wasteland Warfare Settlement Mode series, you'll already have seen one of these Mirelurks. I don't remember which. One of them has been in a battle report. They've both been painted to be essentially identical, and then I used the exact same, more or less, painting scheme for the Fog Crawler that we'll talk about in a second. But even though you've seen one of them, let's just show off both. So the way I decided to handle the Mirelurks, because I couldn't quite decide if I wanted to make them like Nuka-Cola Mirelurks, which are like fluorescent blue, or try and make them as close to just the standard Fallout 4 ones, which is kind of what I settled on, and then the official paint job factored in as well. Pardon me, I used Space Wolves Grey, first of all, basically over everything. While it was damp, I used Skeletal Horde for the pincers, and I used Guilliman Flesh for the more fleshy parts, so the face, the little kind of like grabby bits in here, and went over everything with Agrat's Earthshade. And then I believe I used, actually before the Agrat's Earthshade, I did some edge highlighting with, I think it was Calgar Blue, no, maybe it was Cantor, whatever it's called, the other blue that's slightly darker. But I did do some edge highlighting and then brought the edge highlighting back down, and also to appear sort of like cracks in his shell. It looks too bright if you just put it on normal, but after you put the Agrat's Earthshade on, it dulls it down, so it kind of looks more believable, I think. Because the official paint job kind of has like cracks in the shell, which I quite liked, and I wanted to try and find a way to replicate that. So again, one of those has already been in a video. They're both painted up to be identical, as close as I can get to be identical to each other. Snakebite leather for the bases with a little bit of Basilicanum grey for the stones. But 2 Mirelurks, so the next time they're on the table, both of them will probably be there to cause a lot of trouble. And tangentially connected, you're not going to see this in Season 1. If there's a Season 2, the Fog Crawler will definitely take part. But I essentially, one, it's a very impressive miniature, and it's an impressive monster. It's from the Far Harbor expansion for Fallout 4. Very impressive miniature, and I decided to do the same basic colour scheme as I did for the Mirelurks. So it's the Space Wolves Grey, edge highlighting again prior to any washes. The camera just got knocked as the dog dropped the ball at my feet again. Over and over because she gets impatient. While it was wet still, it's also apparently got kind of like red tinted tail feathers. So I did a little bit of Flesh Terror red again. I don't think I blended that as well as I could have. It was probably drying a bit too much by then. I should have started with this and then done the rest, like kept it separate. But what can you do? Skeletal Horde for the spines, and Aethermatic Blue for its, what are those called? Proposis? Something like that. It's something flies have. I don't remember what they're called, but I think that's what those are on it. But yeah, very impressive miniature. He's got some decoration on his bases. His base, he's got a rope that's done in wildwood. Life buoy thing that's done in red because, you know, the whole Far Harbor theme. But super impressive mini, and also very, very large. I still have that horrible Suicider Super Mutant right here, actually, so I can kind of show you the size comparison between the Fog Crawler and the Super Mutant. It is a very dangerous threat, and well, I got it just because I like the miniature as well, but we've actually, at time of recording this, already seen the Fog Crawler end of turn event twice, where it kind of snatches someone and pulls them off the map. So I thought it'd be a fun idea for Season 2 if maybe we get sick of that event happening and go try and find the Fog Crawler to deal with it. So that's a little sneak peek at a potential quest for a Season 2 of Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So in this last bundle over here, we all float down here. It's Don't Look Back, starting with the other 2 survivors from the core box, and then the expansion I also unboxed when I did the unboxing of like Don't Look Back in general. So I don't remember their names. I think her name is Danielle or something like that. Denise, I think it's Denise. And she's got her daddy's mobile phone, but it's like an 80s mobile phone, so it's huge. It's brick-like. Again, trying to match up the official paint job. I think that's, oh yeah, there we go, that's in focus. So Yandin yellow with a little bit of normal Citadel yellow applied because she's got like a weird striped dress. Agrat's Earthshade to add tone. That is, I think that's just Skeletal Horde for her blonde hair. The white is just the base coat, and then Vulpus pink for her pink, horrible pink socks / shoes. So that's her done. And I believe his name is Holden, I think. I think it's Holden. And he comes with a shotgun. I use Fire Slayer, that's very hard to say early in the morning. Fire Slayer Flesh, there we go, for his skin tone. That is Blood Angels Red for his flannel shirt. And then once it dried, just a little bit of normal Black Templar Citadel paint, trying to very finely apply the downstrokes and then the side ones to create the tartan pattern. It turned out okay, honestly, I think, for being so small. And that is Space Wolves Grey, as seen on the Fog Crawlers and whatnot. for his jeans, but Null Oil used for the shading on it, the shading wash, not Aggregate Surshade, because if you use Aggregate Surshade it turns out more mucky like these do, and I thought the jeans would be quite clean, so I used a different one compared to that. Okay, don't worry dog, I'm on the last miniature, I'm getting through it. So here we have, I think he was called Booger the Clown officially, but I instead opted not to follow the official paint job for a change, and I really wanted to paint him to look like the Tim Curry Pennywise from the TV movie It adaptation. Obviously nothing like the more recent two, but I think as far as matching how Tim Curry looked in those films, got pretty close, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. He looks threatening, got a little bit of blood dripping off his mallet. As far as colours used, all the white parts is just the base coat. The red is Blood Angel's red, the green is Warp Lightning with Gene Stealer Hide for the stripes, the Yandin yellow for the big trousers and whatnot, the 3 buttons, the telltale buttons, are Gryph-hound orange, and his bright red shoes are also Blood Angel's red, and he's standing on a mixture of stones and broken bits of wood and whatnot. And I think that in the official paint job, the balloons, which are part of the objective if you do his custom mission, that is, to remove him, they're all meant to be different colours, but I decided to keep them Georgie's balloon colour, so they're all bright red with a little bit of Null Oil to give them that kind of a little bit of darkness towards the bottom, and just use textured grass, you know, to PVA to the base of them. But yeah, these are used specifically to drive him off in the missions focused him. You can use him as the killer in a mission other than his unique one, just to be clear, but when you do his unique one he has very specific criteria, and he uses these balloons. I think you have to find and pop them or something, but yeah, I wanted to stick with the It theme, so I made them Georgie's red balloon coloured, and sooner or later we'll hopefully see that expansion. I'm still waiting on the custom killers I ordered arriving, which is slowing down, doing a bit more Don't Look Back for now, because I really want the custom killers I've got. We can still keep using the base one, or him, but I wanted to get some custom ones because I think it'd be funny. Or maybe not funny, funny's not the word, sinister, more fitting. I mean, we've already done the 2 which are kind of themed around Jason and Michael Myers, but there's room for more, as the dog drops a ball on the tripod I'm using, and then she kind of looks at me like, what? This is where you sit when you throw the toy. It isn't, for the record, but either way. So anyway, this is another 2 weeks worth or so of miniatures painted for the channel. If you want to show me what you've been painting, feel free to do so on Twitter at GamerEND. The link is in the description box below. For me, next time, I'm in the process of painting some old miniatures. I've got a bunch of new ones to paint now if I decide to paint Townfolk's Tussle or Core Crisis. Crisis Core. I keep on wanting to call it Crisis Core because of the old Final Fantasy video game. There might be some more DC Universe, and beyond that, I'm not sure. I'm never sure when I'm talking at the end of these videos about what I'm going to paint next, because sometimes your mood just changes and you decide, oh, I'll just go paint that miniature that's been sitting unpainted for a year instead of painting something newer. Why not? Anyway, this dog is harassing me. I'm being bullied to throw the toy for her, so I will say that we're done. Oh, and she kicked the camera again. I'll say we're done here for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in about 2 more weeks to see another update of what's been getting painted. Until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.